Welcome to the Age Development Curriculum. Again, this is developed and presented by myself, Kyle Wilson. And the overall writing theme of this is if you care about your child's development, this is what you're going to want their team sessions to look like. Now, this is, again, from my perspective. This is the type of methodology we incorporate with our programming with high soccer prospects. And again, this is all about trying to help you guys as parents make better decisions and hopefully execute and have a better understanding of what your child's team session should look like. And before I move forward, what you need to understand with this is when a coach takes over a team, there's two methods of coaching, in my opinion. There's a method about developing players within a team, which is more individual based, at least especially for younger age groups that need to develop skill. And then on the flip side, you have what you need to do to prepare the team for a match. And those are two completely different segments. Do you develop the players or do you prepare the team for a match? Now, what you're going to see with this age development curriculum from the younger age groups, we're focusing on developing players for the future, not preparing them for a match. And that's our focus and our promise with high soccer prospects. And that's what you're going to see in a moment. So the first part of this is how we set up small-sided games through training sessions. And this is the structure of them. And we actually follow a lot the Croatian Football Federation model. And essentially, it's development over anything. And the first situation we're going to look at is when we need to solve a player surplus situation. So you can see this table here on the right. There are a few brackets to look at, developed and managed by yellow and green on the right here. And it's really simple. You can see you have the number of players, left column. Middle column is the type of game it is. And then the right side is the age group that it pertains to. And what you're going to find, I think, a bit interesting is that it covers basically a 2-year window. So you can see here, if we look at the first one, number of players 3, small-sided game 2v1, and the age group is U9 to U11. Now this is very important. That's a 2-year span, technically 3, because you can see the next one transitions 5 players, small-sided games of 3v2, U11 to U13. So U9 and U10, and it continues into U11, so it's technically up to 3 age groups. And they want to master, and what we want to do is we want to master these small-sided situations. And you can see it continues all the way through. Number of players, 7. Small-sided games, 4v3. U13 to U15. Next one, number of players, 9. Small-sided game, 5v4. U13 to U15. Next one, number of players, 12. Small-sided game, 7v5. U15 to U19, and then so on and so forth. Number of players, 14, 8v6, U15 to U19, and, I think you kind of get the point. Now, what's interesting is we've set this up in a way that it does not include a goalkeeper. So if you want to include a goalkeeper based on the coach's plan, right, for his practice, then the number of player would increase to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 to 13 to 15 to 19. As an example. Now, this is how you solve a player surplus situation. So that means having additional players compared to the opponent. Right? It's how do you take advantage of an overload? That's essentially what the question comes down to. And that's what we focus on with our programming. So if we look at the second one, this is now possession, same type of principle, right? Same idea. You're trying to focus on keeping possession of the ball. You're going to see it's a numerical advantage. This one I'm not really going to read the table, but I will give you the first one. So again, if you look at the first one, U9 to U11, the age group, number of players is 3, and you have a 2v1 situation. So again, that is a 2 to 3 year window focused on individual development, or a very small, group perspective is what you could call it. And again, if you look at the bottom, there's a small note. The table shows the progression of small-sided games using possession in correlation with skill development and increasing number of players. This means an increase in complexity and solutions. And this is as they're getting older and they're developing skill, we will increase the number of players, and obviously that will make it more complex and provide additional solutions to solve problems. Now, remember, this is all about achieving mastery, and we're looking at this from a standpoint of we want to develop players in the future that can play Division I college or college in general and potentially the pro level. And the only way you can do that is by mastering these concepts. It's stepping stones. And that's, I think the best way to explain it here is you're moving up level by level. So like we're looking at the last one, creating a player surplus. This means that it's even numbers and you're trying to create, for example, a 2v1 or a 3v2. Now, they're going to be even number plays. So if you look at the brackets here, first one as the example again, it's a 3-year, or I should say up to a 3-year range. You start with 2 players in a 1v1 scenario. And again, if you look at the bottom, the table does not include a goalkeeper in the active situation. The choice is at the discretion of the coach and his session plan. So if you're, not going to goal, it's 1v1. If you are going to goal, you're going to need 3 players in a 1v1 scenario in the age groups of U9 to U11. Now, again, I'm not going to read you the table, but I think that helps you make sense. Because again, if we recap this, we have creating a player surplus, how to create an overload from even numbers. We have possession. This is keeping the ball, and we want to try and keep the ball when there's a numerical advantage. Or the best way to keep the ball is when you have a numerical advantage. That's probably the best way to say that. And then the last one is solving a player surplus situation. So how do we take advantage when we have an overload? 2v1, 3v2, 4v3, 5v4, 7v5, 8v6, 10v8, whatever the numbers are. How do we take advantage when we have that overload? And those are the 3 pieces really for small-sided game structures per age group. And you can see as the age group raises, so from U9 all the way through to U19, we're developing this over time. It's not take U9 and go straight to 10v8 or 7v7. It's developing the little pieces in the long run, and that is so important for me. So if you found value in this, please share this with somebody to help them understand what they should be looking for from a team training perspective, especially when it comes to small-sided games and the team structure for implementing game-based play at practice. And I've taken a lot of time to put this together. We actually weren't even going to share this. I think this is like a secret file for you guys that we're going to give away. And I hope you found tremendous value from this. I hope you learned something. If you did, it would mean the world to me if you could share this with somebody and help them out because they're probably in the same situation or shoes that you are in. And thanks again, guys. I'll see you in a future video.